Chicago mayor and current ambassador to Japan, Rahm Emanuel, seen here at this year's Tokyo Rainbow Pride Parade, is being called out by Japanese citizens for vigorously pushing LGBT legislation in their country. One Japanese journalist tweeting, "We don't need this U.S. ambassador destroying Japan. The U.S. ambassador pushing LGBTQ ideology to Japan. Please fix Chicago before ruining my country."
That is such a great last line. And that journalist, Masako Ganaha, joins us now. Masako, thanks for being here. What is the reaction from the Japanese public to Rahm Emanuel, who, as you aptly pointed out, was the mayor of a city, Chicago, that is now one of the most disastrous in our country? What's the reaction to him telling you that you need to let men use women's bathrooms?
Yes, many Japanese people are so angry about this obvious overt interference in domestic affairs. And to begin with, I have to say that there are no discriminatory against LGBT people in Japan. For example, I can tell you that there is a huge TV industry for those people, meaning those people are called one or okama, meaning girly boys. So they are the TV celebrities. This tells you that Japan is not a country to discriminate against those people, but what they're doing is to push LGBT ideology to us, and it's destroying our culture. I can tell you about the example more.
Okay, but I want to ask about this because Emanuel said the equality countdown begins now. As I said at Tokyo Rainbow Pride, and we'll say again, no one should have patience when it comes to equal rights for all. It's time for a new era where members of the LGBTQI community feel at home in Japan and the U.S. I mean, you said it's not about discrimination. You threw a bunch of facts out there for us. So why is he trying to make it about that, or at least seemingly make it about that in that quote?
Yes. So Japanese Diet is now considering about passing the law, so-called anti-discrimination legislation protecting LGBTQ rights. But it seems like it's coming from abroad. And those LGBTQ ideology is not targeting only Japan, but of course your country and all of the countries in Europe, all over the world. So it's part of the destruction of our countries. And because we have this G7 in May, so Japanese politicians are making an excuse. We have to meet the international standards, but it's not the case. And what's actually happening is the destruction of our culture. For example, do you know public bath? Many Japanese people like to go to onsen, public bath. But this morning, I visited one of the public baths who are losing a lot of the customers because gay people come there and they make out in public bath. So this public bath facility posted a sign saying prohibit entering of the LGBTQ people without morale and manners. That's the situation we have. So instead of we are talking about the propaganda, we need to see the reality and protect our harmony in Japan.
And Masako, I read in the notes that you said you know many members of the LGBTQ community themselves who don't support what Rahm Emanuel is trying to put forward. Go into a little bit more detail on that.
Yes. So actually, there is a man who used to be a congressman. And he is gay, but he raised his voices from long time ago, saying that what's happening in the legislation is not actually listening to their voices. They're just talking about what's in the textbook and propaganda from abroad. But those people really want to be heard, their voices, meaning they want us to leave them alone, not put them on topic.
Interesting.
So that's what they feel. Yes.
Yeah, you think if you were going to be creating legislation for the LGBTQ community in Japan, you might listen to the LGBTQ community in Japan and not Rahm Emanuel, the former mayor of Chicago in the U.S. It makes no sense. Masako Ganaha, we thank you for your time and insight this morning. Appreciate it.
り合った人が国際弁護士の方が知り合いみたいで、ちょっと聞いて、
その LGBT の公衆浴場、お風呂の入り方が一般的じゃないっていうことですね。やっぱり目的が入浴じゃない。4、5年で70回ぐらい警察に通報して、警察に来てもらって、100人以上は警察に連れてってもらってます。